Today, we're going to be looking at the cost of hiring directly versus using a recruitment or staffing agency. Now, why is this important to understand? Well, because when it comes to filling critical roles in your organization, every pound or penny counts. Now, many companies are unknowingly spending far more than necessarily by relying on agencies, and it's really time that we broke down those exact costs because they can quickly add up. I'll also look at why hiring directly can be a much smarter and more cost-effective solution. So we're going to use this company X as an example. So let's say company X has 60 employees. Now, the UK average staff turnover rate is around 15%. Now, depending on your company, that could be higher or lower. But if we use that as an example, they'll need to hire 9 people in a year. So what I've done is I've picked out 2 of the UK's leading or biggest recruitment agencies. And if you take Michael Page here, so their average fee is, their fee is 25%. So that's their standard fee. And then if you look at Reed, their fees range anywhere from 22 to 30%. So that's quite a big gap. Now, it's worth pointing out as well that Michael Page also would charge you that fee for base salary plus any guaranteed or potential bonus. Okay, so it's very hard, as an ex-agency worker, I know that is very hard to track, but just to be aware that's a potential. So it could be higher than just that fee. Now, also, it's worth pointing out that Reed, as an example, they have a clause in their contract whereby you'll need to make a call if your new hire is going to succeed within just 2 weeks if you want a rebate. Okay, so you only get 2 weeks to decide if that candidate is going to be a success in your company. Now, with the best onboarding in the world, that is almost impossible to judge. And I wanted to highlight this because, when dealing with recruitment agencies, the devil is in the detail. Okay, so let's crunch some numbers. I picked 9 random jobs from company X, and I've done the research. So these are the average London salaries for these particular roles. As a total, that total staff salary cost is going to be £635,444. Now, if we are looking at using an agency, so say we're using Reed's very low tariff, you'll have to pay out £139,798. Now, remember, if any of those highs don't work out, and there's a good chance that not all of them will, you're going to be caught out by those terms I previously highlighted. So these costs will rise. But, if everything goes perfectly, 139,000 is what you'll have to pay. So let's look at Michael Page. Using them would cost you 158,861. And if you were looking at Reed's higher fees, you'll be looking at 190,633. Now, when you lay that out for just 9 jobs, so depending if you're a 60-person company, 100, 20, sort of scale that up and down. But, what could you do with an extra £190,000? You could upgrade your IT systems, improve your employee benefits, buy more equipment or stock for your business. It's endless. So you might be saying, well, Mark, look, I don't pay anywhere near that. I only pay 15%. So doesn't really affect me. It's not as expensive. Now, there is a kind of major drawback to this, which I think is worth pointing out. So using that previous example, just taking the top job there, financial controller. So using Reed's lowest and highest rates there, you're paying anywhere between 20,000 and 27. Now, you might think 50%, I've got a great deal. That's no problem. I don't have to pay too much. Now, as a former agency recruiter myself, as I say, many moons ago, that's what I used to do. I can tell you exactly what that agency is thinking, as they're heavily targeted on revenue. Okay, that's just how recruiters work. This is not I'm not digging out recruiters here. In the right circumstances, they're good. But to be honest, talking to my own experience now, when I was an agency recruiter working on a perm desk, my target was £10,000 a month I had to bill before I could make any commissions. So that was kind of like paying for myself. So that was paying for the salary, the desk, the electric, everything you need to do to run a recruitment agency. So here is a real world scenario. On one hand, I've got this fantastic financial controller, someone that's got a stellar CV, he's got a track record of saving his former company hundreds of thousands of pounds. This candidate is going to get snapped up fast. Now, on the other hand, I've got a bunch of clients willing to pay me 30%, and I'll generate 27,622. And then I've got these clients, which are only, I've got an agreement of 15%. So I'm only going to get 13,811. Now, realistically, who do you think is going to get that candidate? Now, as I say, I'm not having a go at recruiters. That's just how recruiters make their money. So if you're relying on an agency, can you honestly say that you're getting the best candidates on the market? You're probably not. Those great candidates are going to the highest paying companies, and you're getting what's left. Either they don't want them, or they're the candidates that are not that great that wouldn't get into those companies. They're not the bar raising, high performing candidates that's going to take your business to the next level. So that's definitely something you need to be aware of. So what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is to set up your own internal hiring function. Now, with the right systems, automation, and tooling, you're going to make a massive saving year on year. And if you hire an internal recruiter, all you need to do is set them up with, the average cost of a UK recruiter at the moment is 47,500. A good tracking system, like a really good tracking system that will have all of the things you need to automate those repetitive tasks, will cost you about £3,000 a year. And you can put them on the most basic recruiter light package, which is about 1,400. So your total cost is going to be 51,900, and they're going to take care of all that work for you. So where do you start? Well, if you're thinking, just to come back a step as well, what you're going to save, if you sort of take this back, if my maths is kind of serving me correctly, you're going to save yourself anywhere from 88,000 to 140,000 pounds a year. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. You could probably hire 3 or 4 recruiters for what you would use an agency for. And also, if you are using an agency, remember you are paying for them, and part of that portion of that money that's going to them improves their branding, because they have to pay for the marketing to get more candidates. So really, you want to be investing that in your own employer branding, your own EVP and benefits, and everything else that's going to make you an employer of choice. So if you want to, I do have a free course, so you don't have to spend a penny on this. It's a completely free course. Taken my 25 years plus experience and condensed that down into a series, about 7 videos, which will kind of really give you all the core basics you need to set up a talent function from scratch. So if you want to take control of your hiring process, whether you're new to internal recruitment or you want to train your team to do it more effectively, just click the link in the description. This free course, as I say, will walk you through exactly everything you need to do to start hiring like a pro, step by step. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more talent acquisition advice. I'll see you on the next video.